Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on February 7th, 2018. I have 7 strategies with my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, what you're looking at is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 15, 23, 27, 48, and 53. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers, and I put it at the top of this list, and then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers, and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I do the same thing with orange, then green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 15 red numbers, 15 orange, 18 green, 8 blue, and 13 purple. Now these numbers change with every single drawing, okay? So over here, this 200, this represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And out of this 200, 105 have come up a 3-color combination. 73 have come up a 4-color combination. 19 have come up a 2-color combination, and only 3 times out of 200 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number 2 right here, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there's 4 blue numbers and 1 green for 2 colors total. Okay, so since hardly ever do all 5 colors come up, the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no blue numbers will be coming up in the next drawing. And the reason why is because when I look from this point down to this point, I just see a lot of blue up here. Okay, so I just think that it's due to miss. And another reason is because it just came up with 4 numbers in the last drawing, and then it was 3 numbers the drawing before that, and 3 numbers before that. Okay, and since that there's only 8 for this drawing here, I'm just going to guess that no blue numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to eliminate the blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so to speed things up, I'm just going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no blue numbers to it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket with the Power Play. Okay, so I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick and none of these blue numbers come up in the next drawing, then I'm 1 step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm going to go off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is up at the very top is the master for all the numbers. And over to the far right here are the numbers that just came up. Again, it was the 15, 23, 27, 48, and 53. Okay, so that turns out to be a 4-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you're going to see that there's 7 groups total here. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. And then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so the reason why I like to break it down into 5 is because if I notice that a certain group of numbers had a lot of hits to these 5 drawings, then maybe it won't have so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa. Okay, so when it starts off at the first one, I don't have much of an advantage, but when it gets to number 5 here, this is the strongest advantage for me, okay? Because I can see how many are in this 5 already. All right, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no numbers are going to come up in this 1 through 9 area, okay? So the reason why is because, first of all, it has a handicap where it only has 9 numbers, where the rest of these groups have 10 numbers, okay? So this already hit 4 hits in it, in these drawings here. So I just think that it's going to top off there. I don't think that there'll be any more hits within here. So again, I'm going to guess that no numbers of 1 through 9 are going to come up in the next drawing. So I'm going to eliminate those numbers off the game card. Okay, so one more thing that I want to show you here on how I use this. When I look at this, I look for a color that hasn't come up in a long time. Okay, so there's 5 colors. Okay, so here you can see purple, orange, blue. Okay, and here's a green, but I haven't seen a red in a very long time since down here. Okay, so maybe there's going to be a red number that will be coming up in this next drawing here within the teams. Okay, so another thing is the number of groups. Okay, so the last drawing, you can see that it was a 4-group combination, where 15s in the teen group, the 20s, 3 in the 27s in the 20 group, 48s in the 40 group, and the 50s in the 53s in the 50 group. Okay, so that's 4 groups total. So since there was 4 groups in the last 4 drawings here, I just don't think that this is going to be a 4 up here. Okay, I think it's either going to be a 3 or a 5 or possibly even a 2. Okay, but when I pick my numbers, I don't want it to represent 4 groups. If it does, then I'm probably not going to take those numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Again, with no blue numbers from the color code, and now no numbers of 1 through 9 from the individual numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing again is I bet $3 that none of those blue numbers will come up. Now I'm going to parlay that bet with saying that no numbers of 1 through 9 are going to come up as well. Okay, so I'm going to make a bunch of parlays. Okay, so again, if I'm correct with those 2 picks and none of these numbers come up in the drawing, then I'm that much closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. So basically what I did is I divided the numbers into 4 different groups, and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land within these groups down here in the stats. Okay, so this is for the red area, the blue, the orange, the green. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, except that the colors that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so you can see option card number 1 is a little bit different from option card number 2. Okay, so the strategy for this group 1 is to try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these numbers in the orange were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and really reduced the odds for myself. Okay, so it's pretty simple. If you have less numbers to choose from, then you have a better chance at winning the jackpot. Okay, so you have a better chance at guessing what the 5 white winning numbers will be. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no red numbers will be coming up in this option card number 2. Okay, so the reason why is because you can see that there's two zeros here. Sometimes they double up, like over here. Okay, and sometimes they even triple up or even quadruple up, like here. You can see that this is the red, blue, orange, green. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see that blue had 4 zeros in a row. Okay, and as I keep on going, you can see that green had 3 zeros in a row, and the orange had 3 zeros in a row. Okay, but over here in the red, there has never been 3 zeros in a row yet. Okay, so I just think that this is a good opportunity for that to happen. Okay, so I think that there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so when I do that, okay, I'm going to eliminate the 25 and the 65 at the same time, and the 58 and the 68 at the same time. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, why I have these numbers off to the side here is this 25 shares the square with the 65. Okay, and why I have it out here like this and not the 25 crammed in here with the 65 is because of the color code. I need some separation to make this one 25 orange and this one 65 purple. Okay, so if I decided to get rid of all the orange numbers, then I would get rid of the 25, but the 65 would still be in play. Okay, so since I'm getting rid of all these numbers at the same time, what I'm doing is I'm just keeping track of groups of numbers and trying to guess whether they're going to come up or not come up in the lottery. Okay, so doing it like this is a group that has the 25 and the 65 in it as well. Okay, so as a group, I'm going to eliminate the 25 and the 65 at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to scroll over to the right, and you can see that all these numbers are gone now, okay, including the 25 and the 58. Okay, so if I'm correct with all those picks and none of those numbers come up in the next drawing, then the 5 white winning numbers have to come up within these numbers that are still left on the board. Okay, so that's the name of the game here is reduce the numbers, hopefully correctly, and just choose from the rest. Okay, so I'm off to my next pick. Okay, so my next pick is going to be option card number 8, no red numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm taking this one is I think that there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, now again, I told you that sometimes these zeros they double up, right, or even triple up. Here you can see that there's 20 of these single zeros here. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see all these single zeros till it gets down to here. Okay, so I just think that it's due to double up. Okay, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here, so I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right, and this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so again, I like to show you step by step on how I use my game in case you want to use my game to pick your own numbers. Okay, and you know, if I made the wrong pick and one of those numbers do come up, you could say, okay, well, this is where he messed up. He shouldn't have taken that pick. He should have taken the orange one or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my last pick is going to be option card 13, no red numbers. Okay, so this is the same thing as number 2, where this has never seen 3 zeros in a row before. Okay, so you can see over here in the green, there's 3 zeros. Here in the orange, here in the blue, plenty of 3 zeros to go around. Over here in the red stats, no 3 zeros at all. Okay, so again, I just think that it's due to hit 3 zeros. Okay. So I'm going to think that there's going to be a 0 right here. So I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards as well, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so you can see that this group 1, the red numbers go up and down, and over here, group 2, the red numbers go side to side. Okay, so here I like to keep track of every 5 drawings, okay? And why I do that is because it shows me a majority of things, okay? So this 0 means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area. And of course the 2 means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in that red area. Okay, so if there's 3 or more zeros, I color this blue for cold. If there's 3 or more hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so as I go through the history of things, if things have been really hot, well, since the lottery is so random, it can't stay hot forever. Okay, so what's hot today will be cold tomorrow, or vice versa. Okay, so I think that there's going to be a 0 here. Okay, so I don't think that any of those red numbers are going to come up. Okay, so you can see where these red numbers are again, right here. So as I go back to the game card, you can see that they're already gone. Okay, so as I go back to this group 2, what I want to show you about the red and blue areas here is over here. Okay, I only count the red marks. Okay, so here you can see it's a 5, so you can see that there's 5 red marks to it. Okay, here there's 3, and you can see that there's 3 red marks. Okay, so I think that this is going to be a 3 as well. Okay, so if that's true, then here's a red mark, here's a red mark, and here's a red mark. Okay, so there's already 3 red marks. Okay, so if it's true and there's going to be a 3 right here, then that means that this has to be a 0, and this has to be a 0 over here. Okay, so that's what I'm banking on here. So I'm going to get rid of the brown numbers and the yellow numbers. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these brown numbers and yellow numbers off of the game card. Okay, so down here it says group 2, option card number 1, no brown or yellow numbers. Okay, so you can see that there's no brown or yellow. Okay, so hopefully none of the winning numbers will come up in that brown and yellow area. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is going to be option card number 3, no red numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the red, and as I go through the history of things, you can see that things got really, really hot, and now I think that there's going to be a 0 here, and if there is, then this whole block will be blue, which I think is going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left now. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so you can see that there's no red numbers here. Okay. All right, so that's all that I'm going to take off the board. All right, I'm done picking numbers that I don't believe are going to come up. Okay, so my whole strategy is this. There's 69 white ball numbers total. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners. That means 64 are not going to come up at all. Okay, so I just think it should be easier to pick the ones that won't be coming up than the actual 5 that do. Okay, so that's my whole theory behind this. Okay, so I started off with 69 numbers, and now I'm down to 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm down to 10 numbers now. Okay, so if I made all the correct picks, those 5 white winning Powerball numbers will be in these colored numbers here. Again, if I made all the correct picks. Okay, so it's off to the next strategy. Strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there's going to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or a majority to the high side or a majority to the low side. Okay, so how this works is this 244, this is how many drawings I kept track of so far. Okay, and that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 244 drawings, 122 have been the majority of odd numbers. 122 drawings have been the majority of even numbers, split right down the middle, okay, after all these drawings. Okay, so now I'm going to guess, you know, what the majority will be for the next drawing here. Okay, so as I look back through here, I like to keep track of every 5 drawings because it shows me a majority of things. So in this 5, you can see that the majority was odd numbers. Okay, 4 drawings to 1. Okay, and then it was evens, 3 drawings to 2. Okay, so as I keep on going back, the one thing that I notice is that this 4-1 here comes up and it doesn't really repeat itself. Okay, so down here, like right here, here's a 4-1 and here's a 4-1 that it repeated itself. Okay, so I haven't seen that in a long time. Okay, so I'm going to guess that that's what happens here. I think that 4-1 is going to repeat itself. In order for it to do that, the majority has to be odd numbers. Okay, so I think that there's going to be more odd numbers than even numbers. Okay, and as I go off to the high and low here, I think that this is going to read low 5-0. Okay, and just because I haven't seen that in a very long time, I don't think it's ever come up. Okay, so I think it's due to come up. Again, there was no 5 zeros at all, where there has been on the other 50-50s picks. Okay, so again, I think that this is going to have a 5-0 to it. So I think there's going to be more to the low side than the high side. Okay, and then this one here, since this has been 4-1, 4-1, 5-0, 4-1, 4-1, 4-1, I think it's due to be a 3-2. Okay, so in order for that to happen, you can see that there's already 3 to the right. So I just think that majority will be to the left side. Okay, and one more thing is this is the red and blue. Okay, and here I think that this is going to be more to the blue side than the red side. Okay, just because red has been so dominant here, I just think that blue is going to catch up at some point. Okay, so one last thing is this is for the red ball itself, the Powerball number. Okay, so this is for this red number. Okay, so there's 26 red numbers total. Okay, so in this column here, a blue number means that it's low, 1 to 13. A red number means that it's high, 14 to 26. Okay, in this column here, a red number means it's odds, and a blue number means that it's evens. Okay, so as I look through here, I can see that there's a single blue, single, 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 single. So I think that that's going to double up. So I think that the Powerball will be a low number. And in here, I think that this is going to be red. Okay, so I think the Powerball will be a low odd number. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll to the left. Okay, so here, again, I think there's going to be more low than high. I think more to the left side and more to that blue area. Okay, so off to the next strategy. Strategy number 6, pick the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, so again, as I go back to this group 2 here, again, I have 15 of these option cards. Okay, so that means that there's 15 red areas, 15 blue, 15 orange, green, and so on, okay? So I like to keep track of that as a group, okay? So I'm going to go to my Group 2 overview, okay? And that tells me what it did as a group, okay? So I'm going to get going there, okay? So this is my Group 2 overview right here. Okay, so again, there's 15 option cards. So in the last drawing in the red areas, there was 7 hits, 8 misses. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. It's right in the middle of 15. Okay, so if there's 8 or more misses, I color this blue for cold. If there's 8 or more hits, I color it red for hot. Okay, so that really helps me able to predict what's going to be hot and cold as a group. Okay. So for this one here, the one that really stands out is this green section, okay? The longest one before was 8 drawings in a row that it was either blue or red. Now this is up to 10 drawings, okay? So it's a new record. So I think this is going to be red right here, which means I think there's going to be a lot of hits within those 15 option cards. And I also think there's going to be a lot of hits in this blue area, in this brown area as well, okay? And the reason why for this is this blue area, this tells me what the majority was for these last 5 drawings. Okay, so there was 3 blue and 2 red, so the majority was blue. Okay, so as I go down through the history, you can see that there was a lot of blue here. Okay, so I just think that that's due to change, and I think that this is going to be red right here. Okay, so I think there's going to be a lot of red, green hits and a lot of purple hits. Okay, so to show you exactly what I mean by that. Okay, so this is option card number 1 out of 15. Okay, so I'm going to record what's left on the game card from these green numbers and from these brown numbers. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right here. Okay, so I'm sorry. Supposed to scroll down. Okay, so again, this 36 is in the green. Okay, so as I go back to option card number 1, you can see that the 36 is in the green, and that's the only one left in that green area. So I marked it up here, 36, option card number 1. Okay, in the brown, you can see that there's no hits here, and there's a 47 right here, so I'm going to make that 47. Okay, so as I keep on going, you can see that here's option card number 3 for the green. It's the 3 to the 27 and the 40 to the 64. So the only one left is the 11 and the 27, okay, which I marked right here. Okay, so hopefully you get the drift on that. Okay, so these are all the numbers that came up for all 15 option cards. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are going to be, sorry about that, I usually have this all set. The numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 11, the 23, the 27, the 29, and the 36. Okay, so with this combination of numbers here, this will give me 10 hits and 5 misses in the green area, and 9 hits and 6 misses in the brown area. Okay, so as I go back to the Group 2 overview, again, I think that this is going to be a 10 right here, and then a 5, and over here, I think this is going to be a 9 and a 6. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 11, 23, 27, 29, and 36. Okay, so again, what that does is as I go back to the individual numbers here, Okay, I didn't want 4 groups. I wanted at least 3 or 5. Okay, so when I look at this, I got 1 teen number, I got 3 20 numbers, and 1 30 number. So that would give me 3 groups total. Okay, so it's not 4 groups, so I like that. Okay, and another thing too is a 2-color combination has come up the last 3 drawings. So I look at this, and this is orange, red, red, green, green. Okay, so a 3-color combination, which comes up the most, so I'm happy with that too. So again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 11, 23, 27, 29, and 36. Okay, folks, if you like the content on my channel here, please go to my website at www.patreon.com/decoding the Powerball, or you can email me personally at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, that's decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, I appreciate you watching, and best of luck with your picks.